Hi and good evening. It's Chantel at 141 Design Company. Let's make sure we are where we need to be. All right, there you guys are. Needed to click around just a little bit. Find you. Welcome, everyone. Moving some things around. Is everybody ready to paint tonight? We've got some gals from Denver and Montana, Iowa. I only see your at usernames, so I'm sorry I don't know exactly all of your names, but say hello with who you are. I see a Michelle here. Hello from Alaska, from Texas, all over the place. Tonight is our big night. I want to thank you so much for being patient with me and on the reschedule. I'm sure you heard, we ended up, oh yeah, chilly Florida. They were there when it was warm. So sorry guys, we're chilly here too. Um, we were in Florida last week and, delayed due to the weather. So now we're back and ready to get this final piece to the puzzle. Is this frozen on YouTube? Let's see here. I must have a delay. All right. I've got to look at two different things here. Excited for the finish. Hello from Virginia. Welcome if you're here for the replay. We're just hanging out. I'm just moving some things around on my desktop here so that I can see exactly what it is I'm doing. And you can follow along. Good. We're not frozen. I thought one of them was, it's just a delay between the two streaming pieces that I'm using. I'm just trying to get them so that I can see both of them, see your comments, and see what I'm doing. Perfect. I do have I have a video that's parts of this is going to be in, and so once we're done here, I have one to edit for you that's going to go up tomorrow so that you can either rewatch this replay if you'd like, even though I know tonight is going to go very long. You can rewatch the replay or you can watch the edited how to paint this drum video. Both will be on, so we'll put this replay back up and both will be on for you to be able to watch and to follow along if you're looking for, the tutorial. Again, I know it's probably not something that you're painting tonight while I'm painting, so that will be something that'll be there for you always too. Oh, you're wondering which adult children will claim the drum when I get it finished. Exactly, right? I've got one here that's, it's going to Denise. She's my sister. She works very hard here. She handles all of your questions. And so I finished it up and she's like, can I have that one? I'm like, sure can. So this is our drum. I know you've seen it a million times, but here we are. Tonight is our finishing night to go over this crackle, the distress version, lacing it up, all of the things. The only thing we are not going to cover, and this is just because I am not a professional by any means in this, is the cording. So I'm going to refer you to both Tiger Lily and Helen D to their tutorials on how to do this cording with the Cryonic tool. And I know that Tiger Lily has a video that she uses a drill to create her cording. And that's what I've used for, putting cording on. So I think you guys will find those very, very informative, and you'll, know how to do it and put the cording on. There's an extra skein in the kit that is for cording. It's either blue or red or whatever you want. I used another skein of the 930 for this cording. Some of you may want to use the red tones, whichever, but the cording is kind of nice because I'll show you, it fits. Skipping way ahead. Once you have your finish laced, and you can see that you've got your, tabs have shown through, your finish will fit on the top. This is our dummy finish, right? That we did in the other tutorial and you will cover these up just barely, right? But once that cording goes around, those will completely disappear. So it will fill it in exactly the way this did. And you've got perfect, spacing there with the little pieces there for the cording. We'll get to that at the end, but I just thought I'd share that part now. That tonight we're going to be going over the painting, putting this drum back together again in the playlist here on YouTube, because one of these was a video I recorded, and then the other two were lives. If you're looking on my channel, you'll see them underneath live, but there is also a playlist. If you look on my channel underneath playlists, you'll see the playlist for the Blessing Stitch Kit. All of the videos that have gone over this are in there. So there is one where we live together, we laced this piece. So I took you through how I laced this and, showed that example. This is the mat board that is inside your kit. It has batting on it, and I just used a piece of, obviously, it's like antique white or something, some extra linen that I had, but you'll lace your stitch, right? The next video that we did the assembly of the drum, and we went over putting it together like a kind of a dry fit, or just putting it together before we painted it. That was one of them. And then we talked about different paint colors with using the acrylic paints and things like that. I still need to show you a stained version. I haven't finished that version up yet. I'm focusing mostly just on the painting right now, but we'll keep going and keep chatting about this. The drum will be available at market this year, so it will be a pre-order very soon. Oh, hold on just a minute. I lost what I was looking for. And on my computer, there we go. That helps. All right. So the drum will be a pre-order very soon on our website, as soon as once Teresa releases her charts and her new releases, we'll have the drum available as well for pre-order for shops and for you. So we'll keep you posted as far as when that's coming up. If you wanted to just get an additional drum, that way you can stitch a couple of them and you don't have to have kids fighting over who gets it, right? So you can just keep stitching. But let's get into it tonight. So welcome everybody. I'm going to put this one aside. We'll try to keep paint off of that one and then show you this one as our sample. So in your kit, you obviously had your parts to make your little drumsticks. We're going to paint those this evening, and your parts and pieces to do your drum. This drum, it was the drum that was painted for the tutorial. So we're going to refer back to it and go over how all of this was accomplished and paint that this evening. Let me just set that up here. The kit that you have, the first parts we'll work on are the side pieces and the top and bottom. All right, so inside, when you opened them up, you've probably already peeked in there and grabbed them all. you're going to find two circles that are, cut out. And then the solid ones, this is the top and the bottom. These get glued together so that we have, just a thicker top. Just visually looked nicer to have two, to have a 1/2 inch instead of just a 1/4 inch, because the wood we cut on the laser is 1/4 inch maple wood. And then your slats are all in the other bag. You have 12 of them. And I'm going to show you real quickly what's going on here with these. There is, we're just going to call it front and back, so that we refer to it that way. The wood that we purchase has an A side and what's called a B side. The A side maple, it's cabinet, cabinetry wood type of thing. So the A side maple is a little nicer veneer than what the B side is typically. So on the B side of these pieces, you're going to see our laser flash. That's what's coming off of the laser as it's cutting, right? We're going to have this be the pieces that go to the inside. So that's the back. You're also going to see that on the backs of these. I'm going to refer to that later when we're gluing them together, but the parts that are clean is the top of your pieces. Just for a little bit of, direction, I guess, or reference point to where we're working. We're going to start with putting these pieces together first. And I know that we've talked about this already, but we're going piece by piece now tonight. It's going to be a while. We're going to be here for a little bit, guys. So the glue that I use is it's Tight Bond. It's quick and thick, multi-surface glue. This sets up very quickly, and I will put some out into like a little container. And I usually use one of these sponge applicators. I've just got a table next to me. That's where I'm reaching for things because I've got a lot of stuff happening here. So when there's delays, it's just me grabbing something else. I'll put it in here, just a little container that I can use so that it's easier for me to apply the glue. This is a new one. You can grab this glue on Amazon or at your hardware. Lowe's, I believe, carries it. We're just going to put a little bit into this container. When we're gluing these pieces together, another tool that's going to be handy to have is these little clamps. They're just those paperclip clamps. And you're going to line this up exactly like this, right? Remember we talked about the back side of the pieces with the flash. So these are we're going to glue the back to the front. No, I'm sorry. The front to the back. This is the inside of the drum. All right, so then this will be the bottom of the drum or the top of the drum. Let me show you a reference point. So here's our bottom. Inside is this extra piece. I opted to cut that inside out for you because it's just easier to work with than trying to get all of that glued together. It's easier to just glue this little bit together to give us the illusion and to create that 1/2 inch piece that we wanted. So we didn't need this extra weight, so we removed that with the cutting. We're going to line them up perfectly. This is very important because we have to make sure our tabs are going to fit in there. If it gets askew, we're not going to get these tabs in. So we have to make sure we've got all of these notches lined up perfect. I would worry about the notch being lined up perfect more than the edge, if that makes sense, because each notch, it's going to be critical to get that tab in there. We also want to follow our buttonholes and make sure those are lined up together as well. And, just get that all lined up. So we can pre-line it a little bit, then flip it over. And I'm going to apply the glue to this piece. And just put a little bit on each side. Did everybody get their stitching finished? You've just been waiting on me. For paint, if you don't have your paints yet, the paints are still coming. We are still, pretty cold, really cold here. It's got to be up over freezing for it to make it here from New Mexico. So it's going to be a little bit still, I think. But I did give you some, just look for, you can use acrylic paints or other paints. What I'm working with now tonight, though, and also in the video, is the DIY paint. So this is that tutorial sharing that. Once you have them all lined up, if you want to clamp them, you can just hold them with your fingers, or you can clamp them. Now, one trick is to put some of these in right now. They're not going to glue together, but it is going to make sure that those, that it stays lined up. So we want to get a good fit. So those are just kind of acting as spacers. We can put this one over here. And that should keep that together well, and we'll have a nice fit. All right, that should be put together. See, we're just going to take those out. They were just kind of our spacers. So that's all glued up. That's how quickly this glue sets up. Is the ring on correct to the circle? Yes, it is. The ring goes on the circle. This is the back side of it. So what I did was I put the front A to the back side. So now we've got those glued together properly. Let's glue the second one together. So see how we can see both backside to backside. This is how it's going on. Good. And then the ring will be inside the drum, so you will not see it. And I'm lining up the holes with the holes. These holes are going to be what your jute threads through. I'm going to put a couple spacers in every now and then, or tabs, I guess, into there to just kind of keep them in place, and come through here and put a couple clamps on. And get that fastened together. Hello, Alicia. How are you doing? Are you staying warm? I'll tell you right now, I am in, you don't even want to see me, so I'm not going to share, but I am wearing, I'll show you, look, I have like what's called cuddle duds on, and this like, whatever that stuff is. Tell you what, it's chilly. We are staying warm here in Michigan. All right, let's get these clamps off. Super dressed up. So now these pieces are ready for paint, and all of these pieces are ready for paint. So let's get our paint out so we can start going with that. I'm going to move a couple things, and I'm going to grab the colors. colors I used to do the drum are layered chocolate, white swan, hay sailor, and marquee red. There is a kit for these, and you can put yourself on the wait list for those. If you want to get all 4 colors, it is this size. Okay, but these are great sizes, and I think that I'm going to be using these base colors for a lot of other patriotic stuff. So what we're going to do first is paint everything in the layered chocolate, and we'll get going here on that. I'm going to paint all the top sides. I'll tell you though, if you mess up on the slats or something, you can always just paint this side too. You can paint both sides if you don't get exactly what you want. So let's put some things over here and get started on painting, and then we can chat while we paint. Oh, you're in double digits. Yeah, we are too. We're in double digits now too. It's actually getting a little better. I think it's 20, so it feels, like, wow, that feels amazing, right? When it gets to be 20 degrees. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and paint the edges with the layered chocolate. Oh, let me tell you, this is in the video, but let me tell you something else real quick here. If you put your drum together, or put these 2 pieces together, and you find these went together really nice, but if something isn't completely lined up right here, you can take your sandpaper before you paint it and kind of blend this together, sand it out. I show it in the video, but you can sand it out. I've got mine really good, so I didn't need to, but it can happen, but it shouldn't, because you got to make sure those holes are lined up, right? So should be just fine. But you can always sand off and kind of blend them together a little bit to create a nice smooth edge. Now, when I'm applying the paint, we're going to try to keep it out of these tabs. If you get it in there, it's going to be hard for the other pieces to go in. If some gets in, we can kind of scrape that out. It won't be that big a deal, but let's try to keep as much out as we can. And then I am literally just going to get this paint on the piece. I'm not worried about my brush strokes. Quite frankly, some of them add to the look. So go ahead and leave your brush strokes in there. Leave it heavy on here, because we are going to be distressing and letting the crackle show. The brown, the nice brown, is your nice dark base coat. I'll show you so you can see. See underneath here? That's the brown. We're going to walk through distressing to that, but you got to get this brown on there first so that we have a color to work with as our base. And obviously I don't have to get every single inch of it on here, but I also kind of like to go along the edge so that we don't have clumpy paint. Let's not have drips going off the side. All right, let's put that one aside and do the other one. What brushes do I recommend? Any craft brush is going to be fine. These we have in our shop here. They are pretty good. I think they come in packs. Sometimes these parts come off, and that drives me nuts. I just glue them back on. But it's like I can't seem to find a great brush to keep that from happening. And I think it's more, it's the user. So it's my fault, because I'm not good with my brushes. I guess I'm sloppy with them, so I don't take good care of them. And I'll leave them sit in water, and so that's probably a lot of it. It's my fault. But any craft brush is going to work. They've got packs at Hobby Lobby or Walmart. I kind of like that size. I guess that's more of what I look for. Now, I say that as far as the brush thing goes because I got too much. Because this is a really texturized, vintage, just heavy distress look. So I'm not really being, this is not a pristine finish look, I guess. So if I was going for something that was really smooth on one of our bigger paddles or something like that, like I didn't want to see brush strokes, then I maybe use one of those little tiny rollers, that you can get for touching up paint. Those are super handy for putting paint on and you don't see any brush strokes. So it really just depends, I guess, on what the application is. For tonight's application, any little craft brush is going to work. For other things, it might be different. Okay, I'm going to put those up here and we'll tackle all of our pieces. These side pieces, the tabs, we don't want to get paint on those. All right, so what we're going to do is just, and if you can keep it off the edge as well, that is helpful. So we're going to start here and just get the paint on and keep the paint off the tab. It's going to be a nice tight fit. Putting this together, we don't want any extra paint getting in the way. So that's all you're painting when you paint each one of your pieces. And, you don't need to paint the edges when the piece goes together. When the piece goes together, these edges, you just want them to be kind of brown from the laser. You don't need to paint them. I'm actually going to, if I get any paint on the edge, I'm going to show you that I take it off. I sand it off so I don't have any paint on the edge. Leave that shadow from the laser burn inside there. If you're working with acrylic paints, you just need a dark brown. And I did share in the previous, I don't know what the colors are at the top of my head right now, but in the previous videos, I pulled some that I could find at Walmart and Hobby Lobby that were very similar to the colors that I'm using here. But we just need a base color. Okay, I'm going to move these. We've got these left. Let's see here if we can. Try and give you another view so you can see me applying it here. See, right up there to that edge. So this is the brush I'm using to give you an idea for size. Okay, and I've got one more. With that. All right. Is that helpful? So here's our pieces. Come back to the top. And now we just need to get them dry. Let me put this brown paint away. That's all we are going to use the brown for. Move a couple things out of the way. This little craft dryer, you've maybe seen me use this, especially if you're over in our Patreon. I use this a lot. It's just something I grabbed off of Amazon. It works really nice, especially with chalk paint, to speed your process up and get it dry. So we'll get these dry so we can go to our next application. Trying to see if there's a name for it, but I mean, it was just on Amazon. There's lots of little hair dryers. A hair dryer will work just as good as this heat gun. When you're drying paint or working with paint, so we're going to have 6 that are going to be red, 6 that are going to be white. And when it's cool, no longer cool to the touch, then you know your paint is actually dry. Like this one's still a little cool, but that's actually okay. Put these up here. Okay. Let me move these out of the way. The next thing we're going to do, and we're going to focus on our slats to begin with, is we need to put a barrier between them, because the way we're going to distress, you could use a hair dryer, no problem. The way we're going to distress these things is we're going to do what's called wet distressing, and that's what allowed it to look, if you see right here, like, see how it didn't muddy? We want to keep, when we're doing wet distressing, we're going to want to keep this red and the brown from blending back together. So with wet distressing, we're obviously adding water. I'm going to use a baby wipe, but we're adding water. And so we don't want that to blur and just kind of create mud, especially on the white. We don't want to just kind of blend those together. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a barrier in between the brown and the next color. And that barrier is also what is going to probably give us our crackle. Okay. It's hit or miss, this technique that I'm doing, but it more than likely will. And what we're going to do is we're going to put hairspray on it. Now, I don't think it matters what hairspray you use, because I just grabbed this bed head out of the bathroom here at the shop. Don't tell the girls, it's probably one of theirs. But I know that aerosol works better than, the pump. The pump ones didn't seem to work very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to give each one of these, we're going to just spray. There we go. Spray the whole thing. I'm probably out of it. Hairspray. Here we go. We got enough with hairspray. We're going to give them a good coat. Like that was a lot. Okay. Hairspray. This is our crackle medium, and it's also the buffer in between the paint colors, so that when we wet distress it, we're just going to be wet distressing the top color. So the white is all that's going to come off. The brown will stay because the hairspray has basically set it. You can, I should probably just let it dry. but I do just hit it with a hairdryer. Now, when you're drying hairspray, it's gonna bubble up on you. It's gonna be kind of messy, but I don't care because I like that it's creating another texture. I'm gonna dry these and we'll set them aside, just dry them a little bit, and then we'll set them aside and we'll start painting. I've got some that I already put hairspray on, so we'll start painting those and see what happens. All right, let me move these to my other table. See if I can do it. Just take this paper right off without dumping them on the floor. I did it. Okay. Through the magic of television, these were prepared earlier for you, and they already have a good coat of hairspray on them. Now, I don't have all 12, so we are going to have to grab the other ones, but let's paint these. We'll do 3 red and 3 white, and then while the other hairspray pieces dry, and we'll watch the magic happen with these. First, we'll use our white. Now, this is White Swan. You can use pretty much any old white, really, but this White Swan, it's a nice creamy white. It's not bright white. It's not yellowy. It's just kind of a nice soft white. All right, to put it on. So these will be red. These are going to be white. I'm not going to drag it, all right? I'm going to kind of pounce it and just lay it on here. Let me give you another view so that you can see me doing this a little closer. So you can see I'm not really pulling it down. I'm just kind of laying it on the top. And then don't keep going over it because it's going to start probably cracking. I'll do the top view so you can watch the paint dry. You can use any other crackle medium you want to too for this, if there's one that you like. Or don't, well, if you're going to wet distress, you're going to need something in between there because, but if you don't want it to have a crackle finish or cracked finish, I guess don't use a wet distressing, do sandpaper. Okay. Do you see this? Look at what's happening already. It's looking good. Set those aside and then do some red. Here's our marquee red. My red is kind of thick. I added some water to it because you can tell I've used it a lot. So if your paint starts to get thick, just add water. So I am gonna brush this one out because I want it to hopefully crack. What do you guys think? If you use this, let's see here, we got a couple questions. One of them is, could you use a sponge pouncer instead? You can. I just probably wouldn't put it on a very thick, you know. And then when would you use sandpaper? Sandpaper, there's two different. We are going to use a little sandpaper here tonight, but it's mostly just to clean up this stuff that I got over on the edge. Um, Sandpaper is going to go through both colors, you know, so if you don't want it to crack, you just want a distress to it, then paint it brown, paint it red, and then do a very high grit sandpaper and sand it back. You do have sandpaper in your kit. The reason why there's sandpaper in there, though, is more for helping you with fit. If you need help with fitting the drum, it's also for helping if you need help with the dowels and the drumstick things, because you might need to sand that down a little bit to get that to fit well. Sometimes the holes were, we didn't drill those. We just bought those. So, sometimes the holes were a little smaller. So if you sand the edge of it, but I know, look at this white, right? The red is not cracking. The red is a little thicker paint. So let's just dry it and see what happens. It is cracking some, but not as much as the white. But there's something about the fact that on this drum, I don't want all of them to crack, so that's another reason why I kind of like using the hairspray, is that some places will crack better or more, some will be less. And it's just a preference for me for crackle finish. I don't like a crackle finish that's like the whole thing is cracked. I like some to be cracked, some not to. I don't like it to look like I put a crackle medium on there to make it do that. I want it to look more like it actually happened in the wild, and not every single piece, inch of something cracks when it's like that in the wild. All right. Can you see him okay? Let me show you the other view. Let's see here. Hold, please. Let's take you to this. All right. That might be a little bit, you can see the red. This is lifted because I dried it, so I can just smush that back down. All right, and the whites, and the whites. They do look really good. Okay, we need to do 3 more of each. We're going to set those aside, and we'll do the blue, though, first, and then we'll come back and get the others, because I've got those drying over on the table. The ones that we just put the hairspray on. We're going to let those dry just a little bit. These had hairspray on them from earlier. So the blue is Hey Sailor. There we go. Hey Sailor. Don't want to spill it. And for this one, let's do it this way first. Okay, we're going to paint here because the drum does, when it's put together, let me show you this nice edge. Okay, here's the edge of it. When it's put together, you will see that little bit right there. So you do have to paint some of this side. Okay? Don't necessarily have to have a bunch of brown on it. I'm not really distressing it much. So we're just going to get this side, get some blue on it. We'll go all the way around. And then, what a mess. Then we'll let it dry. Well, it'll probably be dry by the time I get to the other ones. Then we'll flip it over and do the top. Bring you back over here. Let me come back to here. You're also quiet. Is this helpful? I hope so. I never know. I just am like, feel like we're just sitting here like little kids. It's almost like finger painting here. It's This is some of the reasons why chalk and clay-based paints are my favorites, is because they're very, like I can apply a lot of water to them, I can thin them, I can thicken them, I can create lots of texture with them. Sand and distressing, I mean, it can get messy, but sanding and distressing is just a dream. I love it. And the reason why I chose DIY paint, I've worked with them for years. Like this stuff has been, um, paints have been something I've been working with since 2011 now, the chalk and clay-based paints, and we've worked with Annie Sloan. We created the Bungalow 47 paint line, and all of these paint lines, I think they're fantastic, okay? The reason why I have DIY paints, I'm gonna say they're my favorite for crafting. The others are great for furniture painting, but these are great for crafting because they are so thick and rich and they're so highly pigmented. And DIY paint has got so many color options for us to use. But if you're doing chalk and clay based paints for furniture and stuff, check out Bungalow 47. That's a great paint line. Um, in Annie Sloan, things like that, they're great paints. This DIY paint is great for furniture too. It's just also really amazing for crafting. So we carry it for that reason, and I'm obsessed with it. Plus, I love Debbie. Known her forever. She's the DIY paint gal, and Debbie's Design Diary. She has fantastic YouTube channel. You might enjoy watching it, actually. She does a lot of thrifting, and she uses the paints to, paint all sorts of things. So there's a lot of other applications for these paints because all this paint is also it's going to stick to anything. So like, I'll say you find some, I don't know, ceramic owl at the thrift store, right? Paint it. Use the DIY paint. Paint it. It's going to stick to it like a dream. And you can make yourself a nice solid white owl. It's very cool. Very cool. All right. So now we'll take it. We got that bottom part. When I am doing a piece like this, like it's got the edges need to be done, I go ahead and hold it in the middle and I go around the whole edge first. Oh, I'm glad this is helpful then because I do want to make sure you guys have what you need it's our goal for this year, really. We're scaling back with some other areas. You're going to see that with our market releases as well, and focusing on, getting these paints finishes for you and like putting things together. That's kind of what our Patreon focus is all about as well. But some of those will be moving over here to YouTube too. Patreon's just basically our paint club. All right, we'll get the blue, this Hay Sailor on the entire top. This piece was already sprayed with the hairspray. Am I out of the view? Sorry, let me make sure I'm here for you. It's pretty obvious, but as you can see, we're painting the pieces before we put the drum together. Now, you saw me put the drum together earlier on the other videos, but that was just because I was talking about the video was more about like the drum construction and how it's going to go together, because there were some that were ready to just kind of get going. And So it's kind of just providing a tutorial of a walkthrough, I guess, if you will, of the construction. Let me go back to your questions. Yeah, if you have questions, throw them in. Let me check here. Do you put a thick layer of hairspray? And do you let it dry completely or prior to painting? I do put kind of a thick layer of hairspray on. I don't know why. I just do. I don't know, it feels right. Um, but I think a thinner layer would be fine too. I do let it dry before I paint. I don't, and I'll usually dry it with my hairdryer. You don't want it to be sticky. It'll just kind of gum up and be a mess. I'll tell you, I have not had much success with the acrylic paints and the hairspray. So try that on a scrap piece or a paint stick. Do that. Try it. You know, that would be a great way to practice this stuff too, is to practice get some paint sticks from, Home Depot and try some of these techniques on the paint stick. It'll get you, feeling comfortable with what it's like. So with the acrylic paints, practice and grab paint sticks to practice on. All right. Our blue is done. Let me grab, while my brush is wet, let me grab the drumsticks because the balls of those get painted blue. One moment. Okay, I just grabbed 2 out of the bin to show you. See, these are actually going to be kind of tight on here. So the sandpaper, we'll talk about these parts here. The sandpaper that's in your kit is 220. It's a piece of 220 grit sandpaper. It is good for distressing paint, but it's also good for kind of helping with fit in case you need to. You can even, round off the edge. These were cut, so you might want to sand those down. But you can, and it's really soft, so it's going to sand quickly. But see how it kind of thinned that out? Now I have a much better fit. So that's just, the piece is in there for fit. Let me get this one done too. It's good for troubleshooting. This whole tutorial, I guess, or our lives, when things like this come up, I'll just kind of soften the end of that other one. Now I left the dowels that are the drumstick handles, I guess, or stick parts. I left them natural. So to paint the little dowel or the dowel tops or the balls, I guess, or whatever, I just paint them, like hold them in your fingers, paint them. We're going to wipe them way down, so it doesn't matter if you get a fingerprint on them. It's going to just be all worn looking. There you go. Just get the paint on. But I knew since I had extra paint on the brush right now, I figured might as well tackle these and then we can set them aside. I'm not putting heavy coats of paint on this. I'm not crackling this. I'm just putting, like, it's almost staining it. The chalk and clay based paints are all 0 VOC, so they're not going to hurt. There's no, what do I say, chemicals or anything in them. Put those aside. And I'm going to just wash my hands up with some baby wipes. I keep baby wipes on hand. These are great just to have for cleaning up as I go. Okay, what do you do when the brush leaves bristles in the paint? You can pick them, just pick them out. Um, grab a little stiletto type thing, or just sand them off with your fingers. You can get one of these little pick type things and just pick them out of the paint and go over it. All right, let's put the blue paint away now and check on this. This is not cracking that much. So, it's hit or miss, guys. Let's dry it. I guess I'm going to recommend in this too. This is usually what I do. Is once you put your hairspray on, look, don't let it sit for days. Like dry the hairspray and then paint it, because I think that's where we get our best results for cracking. The top, we're going to cover it, so that's not a big deal to me. But let's work on the other slats. So these are the ones that we just did. They're dry. Let's paint these and watch the magic happen there. Let's start with red. I'm just checking for any. Do you put a thick layer? Oh, here, yes, thick layer hairspray. All right, just making sure I was caught up. This is more than we need, so we'll just get them all painted and then pick our favorites. So if you want, you can do the same thing by just painting both sides if you're playing with it, and then pick your favorite side, because you're not going to see the inside. Obviously, it's going to be glued to the inside. Once it's put together, this is not coming back apart. The lid does not come off on this thing. Let's work on white. Okay, I was going to ask you about cleaning the paint off your hands and your brush. I saw you use the wipes, so I assume the soap. Oh yeah, soap and water. Soap and water. It's all water-based products. Makes it really easy. Yes. So she says, I see you leaving the tabs unpainted. If they were painted, would that cause a, yeah, it's going to cause a fit problem. Don't paint the tabs. If you get paint on the tabs, just sand it off. You got that sandpaper in there, so just sand it off. You're going to want to keep the paint off of those. All right, that should give us enough to work with. Let me put these paints away while we watch paint dry. Here, let me give you a little table view. I think I could have got better results had I thinned that red paint out a little bit more. My red paint is a lot thicker than the white paint. So the white, I think, is cracking a little bit better that way, or it's more. But like I said, I'm good with that because I don't want it super, I don't want them all like heavily cracked. I want some with big cracks and some actually without any. I'm going to put these over here to dry. Just a little bit more and clear off my surface. I'm also going to show this up close. So what we're going to be doing next is the distressing part. And like I was talking about before, see how we've got some that have a lot of cracks to them and pieces that don't. I like the variegation of that. So it's not all heavily cracked. And the bottom of this one, hard to tell there. But just thought I'd share that. Let me get rid of this and get some fresh. And now we're going to talk about the distressing and how to go about doing the distressing. We've got wet distressing that we're going to work on, and we're going to use some sandpaper. The sandpaper is just for these edges because see how I got that paint? Oh, there we go. Over the edge. I don't want that. That looks sloppy. Like, because this looks so neat, right? So we're just going to take your sandpaper and clean these edges up real quick. And we're going to clean it off the ends by the tabs as well. So distressing is to create some interest. It's also to kind of clean up a little bit after any messy painting. And again, why I love the chalk paint, because it just, comes right off without ripping or tearing because there's no latex or acrylicness to it. I'm not sanding away, the laser burn or anything like that. I'm just sanding off where that paint, like where I was messy, where I got paint over the edges. I'm cleaning up after myself. That's what this is. I'm not distressing the top at all with the sandpaper. I'm just doing these edges. These tiny details make a lot of difference in your work and how it looks. Let me get some more reds and whites. Here's 3 more from our batch we just did. No hairspray on the second set that I painted. Yeah, there was hairspray on them. You want to have the hairspray or on all of them. It may crack, it may not, but the hairspray isn't just for the crackle part. It's also so that when we do the wet distressing, it keeps a barrier in between the two paints, the two paint colors, so that it doesn't just color mix them, because the chalk paint, because it's water-based, you can use, a wet rag or, baby wipe or something to distress with, but it basically, like reconstitutes the paint. And if you've got 2 colors on there, like brown and white, it's just going to make it look really muddy. And so with the hairspray in between the layers, it's going to just pull off our top layer and not muddy it up together. Let me do the blue. Okay, the only reason why I'm going to grab these blue ones is what I'm doing is I'm taking a close look around here just to see if I have any paint that went over the edge that I don't want, like a clump, right? And so I'm not going to do it heavy. I'm just going to smooth out that part. These, I can see the lines here. This is a little bit higher than this one. Before I painted this, I could have sanded that so that they were flush, but I just painted them. So that's just another, like one of those anal details. If you want to work on those, that's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. And I think everybody has their own preferences too. How they like things and how they want their things to turn out. So I'm just here to give you all the hacks and the tips to get the results that you want. And the more you play and the more you do it, you'll find, the little tricks and things that you like too. Let me clean up this dust and then we're going to wet distress these pieces. See if I can just get it with this wipe. There we go. All right. Wet distressing. That's your next step. And like I said, in the next video, these things, it'll take you step by step through all of these. Some of it's sped. I gotta dry these just a little bit more. They feel damp to me. They feel cold. So let me dry these and see if I can answer any questions. If you have any other questions or comments or anything, just put it in now. Did you put hairspray on the side? No, there's nothing on the sides. The hairspray was just on the top. The side is the laser burn. You're not even going to see that. I just didn't want to have paint globs over the edge. Make it look like I'm a sloppy painter, but I'm a purposeful sloppy painter, right? These look good. Can you see the cracking on the red? Did I, of the top and the bottom of the drum, let me go back here. Did you hairspray? Oh, I did on the other ones, but I didn't on the one I just did. Yeah, you're right. I might have to do that. We'll see what happens when I wet distress it. The colors, the blue and the brown, probably are pretty forgiving with each other. Okay. Baby wipes, just cheap ones, hand wipes, whichever. You're going to probably use quite a few of them because they'll load up with paint as well. So let's work on, let me get my hands cleaned off here a little bit. Of the circle part of the drum, no, I didn't. That part I'm just going to probably leave. I'll wet distress it a little bit, but very little of it shows. But anyway, you can put the hairspray on any place you want. Okay, so I put my finger inside the wipe and then just very gently. You can put more on if you want, but go slow and get a feel for it. Now, if you go over the edge, this black from the laser, it will get on your towel or wet wipe, and it will go over the top. To me, that's just going to make it look a little more antiqued, so no big deal. But if you want to keep it white, then kind of stay away from that edge. And see how we pulled. Let me make sure that's focused. One moment. There we go. Let me get it. There it is. All right. See how it just pulled the white back? It literally wiped it back, left the brown on the base. Didn't just sand it. That's what we're working with here and what we're going for and why we're choosing to wet distress it versus just sand it, because we'd probably sand through both layers if we sanded it and we'd go right to this bare wood. We want to leave that brown there, and that's why that hairspray was necessary, because it left it there. It just wiped the white off. What do you think? What do you think? Is it cool? Thumbs up? Yes. I mean, I love it, so I'm hoping you guys do. It's one of my favorite techniques, and you can use this on so many things. So I don't know if any of you saw the Corny Cruiser. It was an exclusive inside Patreon. It's kind of a Halloween piece. The body of the Corny Cruiser was done using this technique. This is what I call my wet rag finish, and it's a full tutorial inside Patreon as well. And I just decided the drum absolutely needed it. Like it was just begging for it. So that each one of these individual side slats ends up the same but different. Does that make sense? Like you're going to have different levels of distressing on each one of them. You can do more or less. But look at how these look. I think that's so sweet. If you take off too much, you can put more paint back on. That's no big deal. And you can leave some of them whiter and take more off of others, maybe just on that side, and then don't do it on the other side. So that can be like a corner. See how it's not perfect? It's like, well, it's not that it's not perfect. It's not balanced. Like, don't do what you did here, over here, and here, and here, and here. Don't match it all. Let one side be by itself. Or speak for itself or something, you know, like nothing happens symmetrically. So just kind of do a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other. What do you think? All right. I'm glad it's fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to turn out really cool. And all different. You guys, everyone's is going to look unique and different. Like I said, same, only different, right? Work on our red. I'm going to take a little more off this one side and not on this side. Red is like a crime scene though, guys. It's just, look at it, it's everywhere. Okay, if it's getting too much, just get another, get another wipe. Okay. Oh, that looks good. Okay. Come back and you can clean up the edges too a little bit. Just get a fresh. If you got too much over here. Ooh, I missed that side with the sandpaper even. Must not have sanded that one. Okay, there's our reds and our whites. I'm going to just get rid of these before I get red paint on the white. Okay, do you need to seal the side rectangle pieces after you finish wet distress? We are going to seal these, okay? But what I do is after I've put the whole drum together, I just spray it with clear coat. But you don't have to do the sides because they're not going to be on anything. Let's move these out of the way and do the blue. All right, so this side we didn't put the hairspray on, so I'm going to wipe it, but I'm not going to wipe heavy. I'm just doing a quick pass on it, and all it's doing really is just taking off some product on the edges. And then I'm going to come over the whole top of it and pull back to some of the brown that was underneath there along the edge. Let's see here. Like I said, it's harder to see with the blue because the blue and the brown are both real dark, but it's subtle, but you'll see it on your drum in your house. It's going to be like a cool little detail. All right, that's one. Okay. Can you tell? Yeah, look at there. Looks fantastic. The edges are kind of cool because they're already brown, from the laser. So, okay, that looks fantastic. Good. All right, I'm going to put these things aside and clear off my space so that we can glue them together. That's all the painting. We could do those. Just a second. Well, I got these wet rags here. We could do these. Now there's not much on there, right? So I'm not heavily wetting this. I'm just kind of rolling it in that ball. Look what it did. Look at that. That's enough, right? I'm not really putting a lot of pressure on. I'm just rolling it up in the wipe, and it's just kind of taking it off just on the edges and where it was thin. Look at there. Perfect. That's all I needed. So see, we put that blue paint on that pretty lightly, and that's all we had to do. Give me a minute to reset. Thanks for your patience here, guys. This is riveting live TV tonight. Voila, magic. Okay. Pieces. If you want to, you can take a paper towel and give these a little buff before we start gluing them together. See, it puts a burnish on it, which I think is neat too. You can burnish chalk and clay paint. So if you don't want to put a finish on, like a bright finish or a clear coat or something, if you just burnish all the pieces, that sets the paint and it keeps it very, very matte looking. I put clear coats on, but you do not have to. You can do this burnishing technique and set the paint. The reason why I do clear coat is I'm going to show you the difference. Look at here's just the flat burnish. Here's with the clear. Well, it's a satin. It's very similar, actually. I thought it would pop a lot more. The blue pops more, though. So we'll give these burnish. And the white. Maybe not with the red part. And start working on gluing it together. Okay. Now, you might want to, get yourself set up how you like them, right? So stagger the stuff, stagger the distressing, maybe balance them out so that you don't have all of the heavy cracked pieces close to each other. Spread them out. Let's stagger these two. What do you think? Do we like it? Okay, one moment. I do need to answer a text because oh, as crazy as this sounds, my kid just asked me to send her kids home. Okay. Apparently, my grandchildren are at my house. I'm not at my house. My husband's not at my house. So we're here and they're there. So anyway, she just texted me. Sorry. Thanks Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. Now it's time to, okay, wax. Oh, yeah, wax would be great. You could put a wax finish on it if you want. Wax might, uh, I don't know for sure about the sticking the piece to the wax. The tape might not stick as well. So maybe just don't put wax on the top where you're going to adhere your cross stitch, cross stitch to it. All right, let's get this together. When we're putting it together, we're going to need more glue. So let's get our glue going again. And start putting them in. We can do a little dry fit thing here too and make sure all the pieces go in before we put glue on them. All right, I'm going to show you why, because sometimes they're tight or my thing has gone over a little bit. I'm going to put this in another area. Here, this one. Nope. So when this happens, if I have one that's not fitting, I'm going to take a little product off. Sorry, I'm shaking the whole table with my sandpaper. And when I say product, I mean, like I'm just sanding the piece. It doesn't need much, right? Sometimes it just needs a little bit of sanding on each side, and it's going to fit down in there. See? A lot of it might be even the way I was wiggling it. So this is just a trick, and why there's sandpaper in your kit is because it helps sometimes with fit in case you need to sand these tabs. So when I say product off, I mean, I don't know, can you tell? Probably can't tell. Like I just sanded both sides, so I get a much smoother fit. I might sand them all. Let's see. Okay, let me fiddle with it. This is your fiddly part, is getting all of your pieces, your tabs in there. When I say fiddly, you might even need a hammer in this portion of it. But I'm going to fit them all first and then glue them in. And a lot of it's too because we're adding the water-based product. The wood will swell some. So patience. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. There. Okay. They're all on. Now I'm going to take them off. Let's take this one out. Oh, you know what? I'm going to sand all the tops too. All right, then we add a little bit of glue just to the shoulder part and put it back on. There. I'm going to put this one off. I'm going to sand the top tab some and add some glue to this part, and in it goes. There we go. All right, let me get you the other angle because this will help. You can see I'm going in. Where did I leave off? Here I am. I'm on this one. So I'm taking that off. I'm sanding, getting the glue out of the way. I'm sanding this tab down a little bit on the top. This is why I was telling you, no paint on those tabs because it's a tight fit. If you have paint on them, it's going to be even tighter. Oops, I already did that one. All right, now we're here. Take it back out. I'm going to sand the top one too real quick before I put it back in. Because if I don't sand it before I glue it on there, I'm not going to be able to do it later. So there we go. Now we'll do this one. If I can get it back up. There we go. Get one of these out of here. There, I'm going to leave that one here. A lot of our pieces, when we send them out, we sand them ahead of time for you with our hand sanders. The drums, however, these pieces are a little too small for our hand sanders, so these are not sanded prior. And with 12 per drum, it's literally thousands of these things. So you would never get your drums. We couldn't do it. Physically couldn't do it. All right, we're getting there. I told you it'd be long tonight, right? But I want to walk you through all of it. Am I doing that? Red, white, red, white. Yep. Okay. A couple more. Because the next part, let me get that one, is putting the top on. That one's, yes. There we go. Couple more. See, I'm just sanding off on either side of both taps. Not really, you can barely tell too. It's just sanding them down is helping make sure I have a good fit. One more. Okay, we have them all in their holes, and we will come back as the glue kind of sets up in there. You know, like we'll clean that up here in a minute. This is what we look like from the top. I want to come over here and see, oh, glue overhang. Let me show you. any glue overhang. So we do have some like here, right? Is that what you're talking about? Like where it comes out like this? I let it dry just a little bit and then I come in here and I just pick it off. So like this little piece, I just clean it off with one of these little stiletto type things before I put any clear coat on. It cleans it right up. I mean, I don't want a ton of glue, like don't be too sloppy, but yes, I do go in and take care of that little detail before the clear coat goes on. Okay, let me come back here and look. Does anybody have any other questions before we do the top part? All right, because this is going to be probably the fiddliest part. You thought that part was fiddly. Wait till you see this next part. All right, so we are going to now, any questions before I move on? Let me go back up in here. I don't see anything. Okay, we're going to put this here. But to do that, we're actually going to put this like on this part, right? And that's where this tool really comes in handy because I got to get all of those tabs now lined up on here. Trying to do it this way, we can try it this way, but it's a little trickier. It's a little easier if I'm pushing it into the holes than trying to get this on top of the holes. So what I'm going to do is go along and put some glue on top of all these spots. Oops, let's give this one, well, that's a big mess. Give this one a little more glue because it came undone. I'll tell you something too, that twine is also going to tie the whole thing together. So it's like, it's really not coming apart, but let's put some glue here because this glue is probably going to dry before I get the whole thing done anyway, but we're going to put it on here. All right. Now I'm going to line up a couple of them this way. Oh, hold on. I got to show you something else. This is important. Very important. See these holes? You have to stagger them. Let me get the other view. You have to stagger them. So if the hole is here on the bottom, you have to have the other one not match up to it. I guess let me go to the top of the camera. Here we go. There you can see it. All right. So hole, no hole, holes like this, right? Because it's going to go diagonal. So don't glue these together with your holes on top of each other, or you don't have any way to lace your stuff diagonally. Really, really important. Now, this is why I did this side camera here for you. I'm going to take this out and start getting these lined up on these holes, you know, and just keep pushing them, maneuvering them till I get them close to going in. It is fiddly. So grab yourself one of these tools for doing this. And once you get like here, see, I got those. Make sure you push down a little bit so that it doesn't come back up. Okay, give me some patience. I'm just going to keep working this. And that's why I'm doing this live. I wanted you to see this because I can't be there with you guys putting them all together. So here I am tonight, making sure you know. I got a couple. Okay. I gotta turn it. Not gonna lie, it's not as easy with this camera either. We're getting there. Okay, I gotta put the other camera on so that I can let you see from this angle. There. See, it's getting there. I just have to, I need to pick it up so I can do, I gotta hold it for a minute. When you get one side down, hold on it so it doesn't pop back up for you, Anya. There we go. There we go. Okay, hold on just a minute. I'm going to do some tapping on this side. So with a hammer, if you want to do this, then put something in between so you don't smack your thing. I'm going to get this side tapped in so it doesn't keep popping up on me, and then I can work on this side. Let me take you to this camera angle so you can see. Okay, so this side is still out. That side's tapped in. So now I'm going to fuss with this one and get these in here. Hold on. Gosh, it's right on top of it. There it goes. All right. I'm gonna tap here so you see those go right down. All right. Okay, let me show you the top. Make sure I got them. All right. Now I'm going to flip it over. That's my problem one right there. But I'm going to get it. All right, so I'm going to smack this one pretty good to get this down. messing around. I've got them all lined up. Sorry, guys. It'll go. But like I said, that's where it gets fiddly. All right, now let me show you the side. See, we got them all down. Let me get this in view. Paper didn't help on the underneath here. There, okay. Now, it should tighten up right there. Go to the top again. Okay. We got, yeah, that's a Cricut tool. The stiletto is not available on my website. It is, I know I'm playing the drum, right? Okay, that's why I wanted to show you this tonight, because that was one of the trickier ones. I've done a lot of these, and that one gave me a little bit of trouble. So if it's doing that to you, I wanted you to know how to troubleshoot your things. But just, you know, keep smacking down until these tabs come up flush. I'm just so sorry if it's super loud on your... See, now I'm getting them all nice and tight and flush. If the troubleshooting for this is doing exactly what you saw me do, plus it's also sanding those tabs down some more so that you get a nice flush fit. All right, so that's all fit. It's super tight. It's good. We've got it good. So that's the troubleshooting. In the video, you'll see it go on much easier. But tonight, that's why we do live, so you can see how I work through it and make sure that we get it just right. There we go. And again, keep that paint off of the tabs. Now, let me clean this space up, and we're going to talk about the finish part, because I can't really spray it here. I mean, I can, but I can't clear coat it here. So I'm going to... Okay, I'm just wiping that down. All right, here we go. Cleaning that up. All right, that is down now. The next step that I would do would be to take this and use this clear coat or whatever finish you want to put on it, you know, for your piece. All right, this is what I put on mine. I just spray the whole thing. I can't spray it right here. I need to do this like in the back. So I'm not going to spray this one here. But I am going to put the jute on it so that you see that go down. Actually, we're going to do one other thing really quick. Or I'm just going to tell you because it'll save us time. Now what I do is I take a little paintbrush and I go over all these spots with the blue. All right, because now that they're down, I want to come, you know, like camouflage those. Let me show you. See how this is all painted? I went back through and I painted the spots then to camouflage that spot. You'll see it on the bottom, but once you put your finish on the top, you're not going to see those anymore. So do that next. That'll be your next step. And then your final step to the drum part of it, because like I said, pretend we have our clear coat finish on it. Now we need to lace the jute. And inside your kit, you had this little, and we talked about this already when I did the other one, but you have this little, it's floral wire is what it is. This is your needle, okay? And you're just going to need some of your jute. Let me get a whole big chunk off of this spool that I have. And then you're going to using this needle, lay your jute through it like this. And then you're going to take it up through one of the holes. I'll just take this jute off later and clear, but I would clear coat first before you put your jute on. We just have to skip that step for the live tonight. Take it all the way through. Leave a little tail here. We're going to tie it together in the end. And now thread it back through this spot. And whoopsie, knocking stuff around. Keep threading it. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I do it in the other video to show you, but just because I'm going to take it back off to put the clear coat on this drum before I finish it. But just keep doing that back and forth. Pull it tight. And then it'll end up obviously crisscrossing across your whole drum. And then, you know, have a friend help you tie it on the end. Let me show you the other one. Here's where this one is just tied off right up here at the top. Okay, then take your little drumsticks that you already painted with us, stand off in the end, put some glue on it and stick the little dowel in there, and then take some extra of your jute and tie it into a bow, glue your little rusty bell on it, and then all I did was just tuck them into the jute, and it just kind of, you know, stuck there on the side. There we go. I can't see what I'm doing. There, it just stuck there on the side. And then, so we'll pretend that that was the drum we were working on, did the whole thing. And then you're ready for your stitch to get mounted on the top and do your cording around it. Now the cording can be done using a crackling tool, which I had one sitting here a second ago. I know we have a couple of them in our shop if you can't find one on Amazon, but literally there's maybe like 5. So, let me grab one. Oh, here it is. This is what a custom quarter looks like. You can find these on Amazon. And then in this video and in the other video of the finish, I'm going to link Helen D's tutorial on putting cording on and Tiger Lily. She does a tutorial on making cording with a drill. Just because I'm not set up to show you how to do the cording yet, but I know that those 2 videos already exist out there because that's how I learned to do cording. And I'll show you on Helen D's tutorial. She shows you how to connect the ends so you don't have to just like do that tie knot thing or something. And let me see if I can identify. Again, I'm still practicing cording. I'm not the best at it, but like right here is where my cording met up. You can kind of see it, but not really, you know, like just because I know it's there. But she shows you how to, basically what you're going to do is you're going to start at one end with the one end and then go all the way around. And I do use a glue gun. I put it on with a glue gun. And then when you get to the end, you kind of tie it off with some of the floss and cut it, and then you can tuck it underneath and kind of let them blend together. But I'll let her show you exactly how to do that because, like I said, when I post this up in the description box, I'll put it in the description box below, the link to that tutorial, but it's on Helen D. She's East Coast Crafter, I believe, on YouTube. And then Tiger Lily Designs also shares how to do cording. I know Nicole Spores also talked about cording. So those are some great resources for doing that part of it. I mean, you don't have to put it on. You could put rickrack or something else, but kind of liked the cording. Let me go over here and chat with you guys now and see, do we have any questions? Is there a top and bottom of the drum at this point? Meaning, are they the same? They are the same. Just pick which one you like the best. You know, like if this, you know, like if you just pick the direction you like and then put your thing on the other side. Calm and patient. Sure, sure. As things don't go together right and everything else. At least tonight we had the camera connected all night long, right? That's been an issue. I figured the camera out. I hope this is been nice and clear for you guys. And we were able to show the other angles because I really wanted you to see. It's hard to tell from the top down. See that angle. How do we find the paint kit on your website? It is, I will put it in the description box on this too later, as soon as it goes up. I think it's called paint kit. Otherwise, you can buy all 4 of them individually, but I think it's the blessing kit, paint kit, maybe it's called. Let me just look at my phone here and I'll see if I can find it. One moment. I'll tell you what it's called. On my website, there's a search thing there, and you can just type in whatever you need. And of course, I'm not finding that paint kit. It might not be active right now. I'll activate it later and make sure it's on there. So, but it's at this point, it's just like a put it on a wish list type of thing because the paints are not here just because of the freezing temperatures. But let me also, tomorrow I'm going to post, okay, so tomorrow I will post the complete tutorial and it will have edits to it so that the lacing and all of that business, it's got a voiceover and stuff. I've kind of sped that up so that you can watch it a lot quicker. I mean, we've been talking for 2 hours, right? The video that I have edited is only 50 minutes only. Listen to me, it's 50 minutes for that one. So it's a little easier to maybe speed through and watch if you are looking for that. On that video as well, I'll link more of the paint kit options and the other links I talked about, the Krynic tools and Helen's and things like that, so that you have more places to find these things. So be looking out on the channel. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe. And I think if you hit the bell notification or something, it'll tell you when I post something. I don't post a lot, so it shouldn't bug you too much, but it will tell you, and so that you'll be notified tomorrow then as soon as that video goes up. The clear coat spray sure will. If you want to screenshot that, it's called Prolux, and I like to buy it in the satin finish, and I just search it on Amazon and pick it up there. The next project. Yeah, me too. I'm excited for our next project. So the Blessing Stitch Kit is one we do once a year, and that's in like the beginning of the year. We do have one scheduled for 27, so I'm excited to be doing another fun project that way again. And we're looking to do more projects all the time. Right now, we will be focused on getting ready for market. We've got some new releases coming for market. So on our pre-order list from our shop, you're going to see we won't have every chart. We got a few charts we're going to be definitely doing pre-orders for and going and picking up, and some others, and some I'm selfish, right? There's some that I have seen that I want. Like Jeanette Douglas just put some up and it's this cool flag. I'm sure you've seen it on other people's already, but I'm going to post it and it'll be in our pre-order too because I want it. So stuff like that. And then we have new releases coming with I think 4 designers at least. So you're going to see those new releases coming soon. And as soon as they post theirs, we'll have those. There is a project that we're doing inside the Patreon, and the Patreon has 3 levels. There's a $6 level, 12 and 36. They have different things to them, but everybody has access to this kit. Even that like from 6 on up type of thing. And it is a kit that we just introduced. It is a new release piece that Kathy has for market of hands-on design. It is one that she already did. It was a retreat exclusive at Stitch West. So I have it because I was at that Stitch West retreat. We have put it together as a kit to do inside Patreon. So the Patreon people can pre-purchase that as a kit. And it's on a custom board that looks very much like our everything board. So it's coming, and that kit has the board, the paint, the floss, fabric, the chart, all those things on the mat board and things like that. So that'll be it's a flat finish, and it will be something we're doing inside Patreon, because in Patreon, this is what we do, these live painting tutorials. If you're looking for more, that's just kind of, but I'll have some more here too, because we're going to probably grab, so we have that one that we're doing from Kathy. And as soon as more charts become available for market, we'll pick another one and do something fun with that. Okay, does anyone have any more questions for this finish? Did I cover everything? Like I said, there's another tutorial that'll pop up tomorrow that you can watch that's a little more professional and shorter and, like not, struggle bus situation. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me. Had fun doing this with you here tonight. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and say goodnight and be looking for the next finish tomorrow. And that wraps up. Oh, I'm so excited to see your finishes too. Let me say that here at the very, very end. I know it's been 2 hours. When you finish your drums, I have a Facebook group. I need to do a little bit of monitoring in that too. Some people have asked to join, so I'll go in there and make sure. But in our Facebook group, if you go over to that, I will link it in this too. Join our Facebook group and post your finishes there, because I would love, love, love to see how your drums are turning out, because this little drum was a total baby of mine, and I just can't wait to see your drums. Okay, that's a great question, Karen. Thank you so much. She's new and she wants to know how to attach the linen to the drum. Let me grab the product that I use for that. Okay, so the round piece, there we go, is finished on the mat board, right? And that I do with the lacing, and that's in the other video. Go watch that, because that's one of the videos in the playlist, right? Then I use this product. It is cross-stitch finishing tape. It's double-sided, and I just put the tape on the back of this and stick it right down and push it right down so it sticks to it. Then the cording piece, I used a hot glue gun. I used a hot glue gun to put this, but you could use Aleene's, I guess, to glue, but I put a hot glue right around there to tack that down. But the piece is put on with this finishing tape. I love this tape. It's been fantastic. It holds really well. Look at how tight that's holding to the top of this drum. It's like nice and flush. I'll tell you something too. I did iron the back of this. I'm an ironer. I iron the crap out of stuff. So I did iron that really tight so that it would fit. I like things to fit really smooth and flush. And I started out using hot glue to put things on, but I was finding that it was leaving too much clump in the back. And I wanted my pieces to fit tighter. So I started using this and I love it. We do carry this in our shop. It's called the cross stitch finishing tape. Let me see. This video will stay available, and there's one that's a little shorter too that goes over all the details again too. But yes, this video, I'll keep it here. It'll be in the live section on my channel. Still hoping some of the older painting videos move over. Okay, from Patreon, is that what you're asking for, Sandy? And are you going to do one that is just stained and not painted? I will work on that. I haven't done that yet. The stain I like to use is no longer available, and so I got to go find another stain. But it would be the same way, like just stain it. You know, like with Minwax or something, stain all of your pieces. If you want to distress them, distress them. This piece is a good example of what the stained wood can look like. So this is stained with a little sanding distressing on it. And this is called, I think this is Jacobian from Minwax. So you can just stain the wood pieces and glue it together. It'd be very neutral. Yes, can't forget to attach the linen. Okay. Again, thank you so much, guys. And look, I'll be looking for your finishes. Share them as you get it going. And if you have any other questions, I guess just go ahead and put them in the comments, either on this video or on the future tutorial video. And we'll be sure to, track you back down, get your answers for any of your questions. Thank you so much for all the love you shared with this. And definitely make sure you head over and thank Teresa too for creating such a beautiful, beautiful chart. Now, if you're new to all of this and you just chimed in just for fun, this design will be a Nashville Needlework Market new release. When Teresa does her new releases, this chart will be one of them. We did not keep this exclusive to our shop for a year. We went ahead and I told her release it because I know that a lot of you are looking for just the chart. I hear you. We heard you. We hear you. So it's coming and you can grab it wherever. So whatever shop or your local needlework shop, put your pre-orders in with them for the chart so that you can grab it. And then more drums if you need those. We will be offering those as well to shops. So you will see those pop up on shops. We also wholesale to 123 Stitch. So if you're international, that might be a fantastic place to pick all of this stuff up is through 123 Stitch because I know that they will also be carrying it. So this is coming and it's not far now that you should be able to start pre-ordering it if you're new and you missed out on getting the original kits that we did. We are done with the kits now just because we know that it's coming out so that it's going to be available for everybody. And yes, this tutorial will stay here so that future people can come in and grab it as well. So, all right, I'm going to sign off. We've been here for 2 hours and I appreciate all of you so much. So have a great night and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.